Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Achak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the head apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Aqua who subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, the highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom, now more so than ever, to bring it out, making their bodies a living sacrifice. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of Valley Camp, New Jersey, NYC, first camp I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62, verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, keep not silence, give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is the praise in all the earth. So, back at it with another lesson through the Spirit and power Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and the Wadi Ba'ashim Yahushai for the Spirit to do this lesson. So I'm going to jump into the rising tensions amongst the Russia-Ukraine border that's sucking in all the other nations. The NATO has an eye on the situation. The United States, the rising tensions with the United States and Taiwan, and China, better yet, the U.S. and Taiwan, in cahoots basically together, and China is starting to, buck up. So we have what it's looking like to be a full-fledged world war on our hands, in the form of nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And it's looking like, and more like, that's going to be the situation in the next coming, weeks, months, however long this thing takes to kick into full gear. It only takes somebody to bomb somebody, or somebody to piss off somebody, or somebody to invade somebody, and all of a sudden you got a full-fledged world war on your hands. And that's what it's looking like more and more. So I'm going to touch into a few articles that touch on this exact topic. Lord's will, you'll find it edifying. I'm going to try to go a little more rapid speed. I'm not going to read, the full article. I'm just going to touch on bits and pieces in the articles, maybe just the headline, and keep it moving. So with no further ado, let's get into it. So the United States is considering sending warships to the Black Sea amid the Russia-Ukraine tensions. So let's get it. United States is considering sending warships into the Black Sea in the next few weeks in a show of support for Ukraine and Russia's increased military presence on Ukraine's eastern border. Now, I went into a lesson on this. I may leave the lesson in the description box, but yeah, I'm going to. Just so, people who are new to this channel or haven't been in the loop of what's going on over there, they can sort of catch up, with what I brought out, and, go do their own reading outside of that as well. I encourage you to as well. Keep up with these times and, stay occupied in prophecy, because we're coming into a dangerous time, but also a beautiful time. And that time is Jacob's trouble. And in the midst of that, you're going to have a lot of things going on, So that's basically what's going on. The U.S. Navy is getting involved, around the Black Sea, and they plan on deploying warships, into that area. Let's read a little bit about it. The last part right here. The U.S. is required to give 14 days notice of its intention to enter the Black Sea under a 1936 treaty giving Turkey control of the straits to enter the sea. It is unclear if a notice has yet been sent. So, that could stir up Turkey, and they've been talking shit lately too. All these countries have been letting Babylon know that, we ain't having it no more. We're tired of you trying to be the world police. They're letting Big Brother know that he ain't Big Brother no more. Let's read this part. The defense official also said the Navy is continuing to fly reconnaissance aircraft in international airspace over the Black Sea to monitor Russian naval activity and any troop movements in Crimea. And that's in that Crimea area, the Crimea Peninsula. That's along the Black Sea, I believe. Yeah, right along that Black Sea area. And that's where tensions are kicking up. The eastern area of Ukraine, which is known as Donbass, and then the Crimean Peninsula, which is South Ukraine, better yet, Southeast Ukraine, East Ukraine, better yet. And that's where the sea is. And that's where tensions are kicking up. So that's article number 1. Article number 2, I'm just going to read the headline. So the United States is concerned about Russian troop movements near the Ukraine, discussing regional tensions with NATO allies. And that's key because NATO, along with the European Union and America, that makes up the beast, and it's going to be pretty key when the other nations that are part of the beast system are going to hate the whore, Mystery Babylon, aka America. And you're starting to see these nations really show how much they are disgusted with America. You can see it in these articles, as far as, the tensions are building up. This first article was released today, but yesterday. It's the 10th right now, a little bit after midnight out here in California. But it was released yesterday, the 9th, early in the morning. This is another article, the Wall Street Journal. It was released. Article was released, I believe, today or yesterday, midday or so, Eastern time. Russia warns of full-scale war in eastern Ukraine, blames Kiev. Let's read this part right here. The buildup of Russian troops on the border and escalating rhetoric threaten to derail efforts to reach a peaceful settlement. So tensions are starting to kick up. Nations are starting to buck up. This is the 8th that this article was released by CNBC. This is the next article out of the End Time headlines right here. U.S. military warns of increasing risk of catastrophic war with China. Moab, they're letting the beast know, we ain't cool. We ain't cool like that. Don't run up on us like that. Ain't nothing popping. We can get it popping, basically. Let's read this first part right here. The U.S. military is warning that China is likely on course to accelerate its timeline for gaining control of Taiwan. And it looks like they may try to pull some invasion, That's what it's looking like. It's looking like that type of buildup. The location and chief source of ongoing tension between Washington and Beijing for decades, and is widely seen as the most likely trigger for a potentially catastrophic war between the United States and China. And the United States owes China tons of money, I believe, So, these Moabites, they're letting Babylon know that, time to pay up, man. Basically, shut up and pay up, or, get messed up. And they're picking on Taiwan right now, which is right next to them, a smaller nation, but they're letting those other Moabites in Taiwan know, you can get it too, man. Those Moabites, Ammonites, So the Ukrainian President Zelensky calls on NATO to step up its military intervention in the Black Sea as Russian press warns of war. And this is released the 6th. So all these articles are going into the same thing. And this was released by a World Socialist website. So WSWS. And I found the title pretty interesting, so I just figured I would share it. So that's pretty much what's going on with these nations, and you can hear the war drums. They're starting to play. So let's read the scriptures and wrap this up, and Lord's will, this lesson to be edifying. So this is Matthew 24, 6 and 7. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not come yet. It's like it, but the end is not yet. I'm going to read this again. Got a little excited. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we have to see all these things come to pass, the wars and rumors of wars, them threaten to lock down cities because, you don't have the Air Maxes on your feet, them come with the accusations, and the great persecution of the children of Israel and other things, man, and World War III and the beginning birth pains of it is one of the things that we're watching for, wars and rumors of wars. So this is Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which is happening right now, the beginning stages of it. China, Taiwan, United States, China, the Ukraine, Russia, NATO's, sort of peeking over the gates like, okay, well, what's going on in their backyard, So Matthew 24 and 7 from the top. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And that's happening right now at a record pace. More earthquakes this year than any other year as far as month to date, from the beginning of the year. More earthquakes than any other year. Pestilences. Well, don't you have a mask on? Don't you have to have a mask on? Aren't you required by law to have one on to go inside any type of grocery store or public establishment? Aren't they pushing for you to put Air Maxes on your feet pretty soon and mandate those Air Maxes? And famines. Well, a famine is brewing up, and as they get more draconian with these laws, and more people don't want to work because of various reasons that they don't want those Nikes on their feet, those Air Max 97s, there's going to be famines when the trucks stop running, and the truckers, don't want to wear Nikes, they want to be free, and wear Filas, they don't want the Nike Air Maxes, they want the Filas to be free, they want those Freedom Filas, and they don't want to drive into your areas because they're forcing the Nikes on their feet, then you're going to have a famine, and the government is hoarding goods conveniently, in storehouses. Some of them are concentration camps, some of them aren't. Preparing people for the famine, preparing for the famine and preparing to have that be the solution, when the famine comes. Oh yeah, we got a convenient place for you to go get some food. It just so happens to be a FEMA camp. But don't be alarmed, man. Don't be afraid, Go in there, man. We'll take care of you. And you may not go out of that place. As soon as you enter, you may be stuck there, man, for a while, for a good while. Maybe, until your demise. Who knows? We'll just have to wait it out. But these things are set in place. Let's go. Joel, the 3rd chapter, 9 through 14. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what's happening right now. You got these countries like Taiwan and Ukraine, and they're bucking up against the major powers, and you got these other countries, these smaller countries, these countries who were looked at as weak militarily, on a fighting level, combat level. They're starting to buck up to Babylon, man. They're starting to let the whore know that the whore ain't shit. You ain't shit, and Babylon is being greatly despised amongst all these nations. It's becoming the laughingstock of a lot of nations as well, And pretty soon they're going to get fed up with this place, and they're going to bomb the shit out of this place, man. Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Let the heathen be awakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the pressure is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is near in the valley of decision. And a lot of these nations, Moab, Edom, the Medes, Turkey, they've all put their hands on the children of Israel one given time or another. That's why the book of Joel starts with, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead them, for my people, because all these nations have had a turn putting their hands on the children of Israel at one given point of time or another. We've been in captivity under these nations at some point, or they've had a hand in putting us in captivity. The Assyrians, the Babylonians, so on and so forth. The Moabites, the Edomites, all these nations have had their chance, to be king of the mountain, at one given time or another. So they have to get their judgment for it, man. And they're going to try they're going to try to fight Yahushua when he returns, and they're going to lose terribly, And that's talked about in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 15. And 40. The great and mighty clouds shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein. And they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star, fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down cities and walls and mountains and hills, trees of wood and the grass of meadows and their corn. The flying swords, those are the missiles, fire and hail. That's the fire and brimstone, you know, from the flying swords, it's going to be, it's going to cause that lake of fire, all those nuclear warheads, those ICBM missiles. And those are going to come from nations like China, Russia, the NATO allies, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start right here. 2nd Ezra 15:43. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. This didn't happen to ancient Babylon. This is talking about Babylon the Great, They shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all wrath shall they pour upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up into heaven, up into the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. And those clouds of smoke, those are those mushroom clouds, that come from nuclear warheads, just like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's going to look like that, but it's going to be a way bigger cloud, way bigger clouds, because those nuclear warheads are way more powerful than the warheads that hit in World War II. They hit those Ammonites over there in World War II. You're talking about nuclear technology to the 50th, 60th, 70th, 80th, and 100th power now, literally speaking. So last precept, and Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. It's a little late over here, so Salakia, But hey, last precept of the lesson, and Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And this place is going to be burned with fire. Those strange rains, like the book of Wisdom of Solomon mentions, and those strange rains are nuclear warheads, ICBM missiles. That's what's going to cause smoke to go up unto heaven. Those are going to be those flying swords, and fire and hail that are going to come from the sky, And we're starting to see the wars and the rumors of wars. We're starting to hear of the wars and the rumors of wars. Better yet, and this is all the beginning stages of it right now. The articles, countries going into other countries' areas. You have fighting between the Ukraine and the Russian troops already. It's not being widely publicized, but they were firing on each other with grenades, and so on and so forth. Last week, about 10 days ago or so, maybe like a week ago or so. So it only takes one of these countries to drop a nuke on somebody, and all hell's gonna break loose. And it's looking like that may happen. And Lord's will, that happens. Tomorrow. So we can get the hell up out of here. That much sooner. But we just have to wait these things out. But it's starting to look like we have a potential World War III situation popping off, because you have multiple countries letting America know, and letting America's allies know, what's popping, basically like, yeah, we can get it on, what's cracking, So, Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. I'd like to close on out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the head apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwelt who subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom to bring it out, making their bodies a living sacrifice. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC, first camp I ever heard the truth from. Isaiah 62 verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, keep not silence, give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So, Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. And to the next time, Lord's will, shalom. DTA, Abba Ball. Abba Ball. Abba Ball. Soon.